When I first heard the premise for Kevin Can F himself, I thought, okay, that's a clever idea. But what surprised me wasn't the format. It was what the format was hiding. On the surface, the show looks like a dark comedy built around a gimmick. Whenever Allison is with her husband Kevin, it's filmed like a classic multicam sitcom. Bright lights, laugh track, exaggerated jokes. The camera locked in front of the set. It feels familiar, safe, almost nostalgic. The second she steps out of Kevin's orbit, everything changes. The lighting drops, the laugh track disappears, the camera moves, the tone shifts. Suddenly you're in something much darker and much more grounded. At first, it feels like a clever technical trick, but very quickly you realize the trick isn't the point. Kevin, inside the sitcom world, feels like the kind of lovable idiot we've seen 100 times. The selfish husband, the loud joke machine, the guy everyone rolls their eyes at but still roots for. Outside that framing, he's not harmless, and that shift is the entire thesis of the show. The acting across the board is excellent. Anne Murphy completely steps outside of the shadow of Schitt's Creek here. Allison isn't written as a perfect victim. She makes selfish decisions, she spirals, she considers extreme choices. The show never asks you to applaud those choices. It asks you to understand how she got there, and that difference matters. At one point, someone even asks the obvious question, why not just leave the husband? I love that the writers put that in, because they know that's what you're thinking. Instead of giving you a dramatic twist or a single explosive moment, the show reveals patterns, gaslighting, financial control, manipulation. The way Kevin punishes anyone who threatens his ego. Not in one big reveal, in habits, in history, in accumulated damage. It's not about one catastrophic act. It's about erosion. And once you start seeing that erosion, the laugh track becomes part of the critique. Because we've all laughed at that guy before. We've all been trained to see him as harmless. He isn't. But the real heart of the show isn't Kevin and Allison. It's actually Allison and Patty. Patty starts off feeling like a side character, but she becomes the emotional center of the series. She's intensely loyal, but she's also honest. She supports Allison, but she also calls her out. She doesn't excuse Allison's worst impulses. And once Allison finally has someone who is hers, not Kevin's friend, not in Kevin's orbit, everything begins to shift. Not neatly, not perfectly, but meaningfully. That relationship is what keeps the show from becoming just a dark satire. It becomes something about support, about accountability, about what changes when someone isn't isolated anymore. The show also refuses to flatten anyone into a cartoon. Kevin isn't written as a mustache-twirling villain. He's written as someone who knows how to control a room. And when you finally see how he operates outside of the sitcom lighting, it's unsettling. Even side characters evolve once they leave Kevin's orbit. You start to understand where people come from, not to excuse them, but to see them clearly. And that clarity is what makes it work. It's only 2 seasons, and I'm glad. There's no filler. Every episode pushes the story forward. No neat bow. No easy moral wrap-up. People grow, or they don't. Consequences land. It trusts the audience to sit in discomfort. That's rare. If you skip this because you thought it was just a dark parody of sitcoms, it's not that. It's a story about emotional erosion, about narrative framing, and what happens when someone finally sees the joke for what it is. And once you see it in that way, you can't really unsee it. That's why I've rewatched this more than once, and it's exactly why it's a hidden gem.